Middle of nowhere gaming. Don't you dare be sour. Get ready and feel the power of the Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys.
Woo!
That's right. Standing ovation from our dozens and dozens as we are back thanks to Middle of Nowhere Gaming. I am your host, Chaz King. Alongside me, as always, in this endeavor, Mr. Adam Leonard.
Hey, I think we're probably down to maybe a dozen listeners if we're real lucky at this point, but probably more likely like 9.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while, hasn't it?
I've got a beard. I may or may not be able to do as many push-ups as I used to.
We're on different coasts now.
Yeah. What in the world is going on in the world of Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys? Reboot.
So I guess first question, Chaz, because I'm sure there are probably some people who might be wondering, if anybody's listening to this, who in the hell are the Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys?
Well, who in the hell are the Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys? You're listening to them. I myself, Chaz King, and Adam Leonard, about, 2 years ago? Almost.
Something like that.
Something like that. We got an offer from a wonderful radio station called All Comedy 1450 in the Eugene Springfield area. They're still going strong. And they said, hey, you guys like nerdy stuff. We have a radio station that needs content. You guys are funny. Do you want to be on our radio? And we said, yeah, duh. And we did. We did the show for, almost a solid 2 years. And then and then I moved here to the East Coast, and basically we are just kind of pop culture lovers. We love all things pop culture, all things geek culture, not just video games, but everything like comic books and movies and television, and we figured, hey, we love games too, so Middle of Nowhere Gaming, perfect fit. We'll just add the spice of the cumin of comics or the Italian seasoning of television to the beautiful, wonderful dish that is Middle of Nowhere Gaming.
Yep, absolutely. We are excited to have this opportunity to finally come back together and bring this back. We've been talking about this for months, and we're so very glad that Middle of Nowhere Gaming is opening up its heart to us and letting us be part of the family. We're sitting right at the table eating dinner with Aunt Sega and Uncle PlayStation.
We just might still collect Blu-rays like grandfathers. Because is that even a thing anymore, a Blu-ray? Because I buy them. So they make them.
They make Blu-rays, yes. That's still very much a thing. I'm like a snob. I won't buy something unless it's on Blu-ray.
Same now. Which means I haven't bought anything in a very long time because I don't have anything that can play a Blu-ray with me on this coast. It's at my mama's house.
And what sucks is there's some really weird holdovers of stuff that should be on Blu-ray. I want to own a good copy of Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap. It's not on Blu-ray. What the hell?
Yeah, that's like a staple. That should be in every self-respecting young person's life on Blu-ray.
Yes. But yeah, we're excited to be back. We're so excited, in fact. Next week, we're going to be announcing a very special contest to kind of celebrate us coming back into the world. We're gonna give something away, and we'll talk a little more about what it is and how you can get it next week. But now, let's move forward. Let's get to today. Chaz, what in the hell's going on in your life?
Well, a whole bunch of retail work. I don't think I'll get in trouble by saying I work at Toys R Us Times Square. 110,000 square feet of joy and merriment, as we call it. And boy, oh boy, is that 110,000 square feet feeling smaller and smaller and smaller every day as the holidays vastly approach us. As it is November 8th right now as we record this. And boy, oh boy, in 2 weeks' time, it's going to be a madhouse. It's already getting there, but it will be there soon. It's going to be Arkham Asylum up in this piece.
So what is the weirdest thing you've witnessed working at Times Square Toys R Us?
The weirdest thing, man, that might take me a while to come up with, but today there was a fun incident in the morning, as it is Sunday morning, and if you're into the Amiibo craze, the Nintendo Amiibos, we're releasing Mii Battle Packs or whatever. They're like the new little like Miis with Splatoon guns or dressed up like a knight. Each and every weekend, we're releasing a new one of those. A lot of retailers are. I think GameStop is doing it too, and I think Target is doing it too. So if you're looking for those, go to those stores. But we have a limit of 2. And we didn't have our security guy down there at the video game section this morning. And so we had guests buying their 2, taking another package, and leaving the video game section so they could buy a 3rd or a 4th. Those conniving jerks.
I don't get it. There are some people, some people who, from that middle of nowhere gaming that are really, really into the Amiibo craze. And, I mean, I get why they are, but it just feels like so futile that you have to, be super tactical if you want to get the cool Amiibos, but they all just, friggin' disappear. Mm-hmm. And maybe in my, old age of, what am I, 33? 33. It's just I don't have I'm too old for that shit. I mean, that's really the quote lethal weapon. I'm too old for that shit. I just can't deal with all the planning and the mechanics of ensuring that you get these super rare amiibos. To me, it's not worth it.
Yeah, no thanks. And there's an everyday occurrence at Toys R Us Times Square. We have this guy we lovingly refer to as Trenchcoat Mafia. He's a collector who is a little unstable and gets so mad at us when we don't have the new Hot Wheels box. You're holding it behind the counter. No, douchecock, we don't have Hot Wheels hiding behind the counter. We're not trying to spite you and not give you the new BB-8 Hot Wheel.
There's a BB-8 Hot Wheel?
There's a BB-8 Hot Wheel, a Kylo Ren Hot Wheel, a Darth Vader, C-3PO, the regular cast. But yeah, the BB-8 one is the one he was looking for just the other day. I think he finally got one because we had 6 this morning.
So what have you been doing outside of work? I mean, Toys R Us, I'm sure, is exciting, but I'm sure you have to find something fulfilling outside of work. What have you been into pop culture wise? What have you been doing?
Well, those who might have peeped out the recent spoiler cast about Metal Gear may or may not know that I just started it again. And I'm working through it for the second time from the very beginning. Things are going a lot better this time around. I'm S-ing and A-ing a lot of things, which may or may not sound like some sort of random Google search that leads you down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, I was for a second it took a second because it's been a month or so since I played S and A-ing. What the
S and A-ing? Is that a kink thing? I don't know.
Yeah. So you're going through it again. You just basically turned around, started it up again.
Pretty much. Kind of knowing that, I can customize my base now, and look, I can change my logo, and yeah, decoys. Because holy crap, decoys! It's the greatest thing. It's the greatest thing. And to break up the gloom and doom or the intense nature of that particular title, I am also playing Disney Infinity 3.0 right now, which is the Star Wars love letter, essentially. It's a lot of fun, and I have way too many figurines for a 400 square foot apartment. Yeah.
Both that and Lego Dimension, I keep on eyeballing those things. But, I think the biggest problem is just, my video game dance card has been so full, particularly this year, that I just haven't had a big enough of a lull that I'm gee, let me go ahead and play that.
It's a lot of fun. It's really goofy. It's really silly. Everyone is a toy, so you can totally cut them in half with a lightsaber, and it's still rated E for everyone. So, that's cool. The toys are very nice. The toys are very, very nice. So the collector in me is very pleased. And this year's edition, I think, is definitely the best. It's one of those sequels that ups the ante. So that's been a lot of fun to mix up the drama of Metal Gear.
Right.
Yeah. How about you? I know you've been Assassin's Creeding it up.
Yes. Yeah, I've been desperately trying to finish it because Tuesday, like my social life goes away. Tuesday, Fallout 4 comes out.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm really stressed out right now because I ordered like the Pip-Boy edition, so I ordered like the big $120 edition, and like Amazon hasn't sent it out yet. Like originally it said like it's coming out on Friday, or it's going to be sending out on Friday. Nothing. And now it's just kind of vaguely become, will be shipped soon.
Oh, no.
Now, to be fair, I pre-ordered Persona 4 Dancing All Night, and I had a similar situation where it didn't go out over the weekend, went out on a Monday, but nonetheless it still got to me, because luckily, being in Eugene, Oregon, I have Amazon centers both in California and Seattle that are not too far away. So they haven't given me a reason to believe it. It's still telling me that it will be there on Tuesday, so they haven't given me a reason yet before to make me think that they wouldn't hold up to that promise. But, you know, part of me is just nervous because it was like a big limited edition collector set that sold out almost immediately. And so I'm like, okay, you know, is there going to be some bullshit involved with me getting this? Is it going to take longer? Are they going to go like, oh, derp, we didn't have enough of them. Sorry about that. So I'm feeling a little stressed and a little wary, big first world problem. But I just, on Tuesday, want to be able to go home and, put on my Pip-Boy and play Fallout 4.
Yeah, and put on the companion app on your phone and strap that bad boy in there.
Have you tried the companion app yet?
I have not.
It is friggin' cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, I'll let you, because it, super kind of nails the overall look and aesthetic of, kind of the Pip-Boy interface. And it'll let you, look at your stats. You can, manage your inventory, look at the local map, and then listen to the radio. And even now it has, little video games you can play. It comes with, a little, Fallout version of, Missile Commander.
Nice.
Yeah. So the promise is to be really, really cool. But jumping backwards, yeah, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It's a really good game. It's one of the better Assassin's Creed games. Only issue I've been kind of running into is I waited on playing Unity, and so I played Unity probably right around March, April, and I really think that Assassin's Creed games hold up best if you're really only playing one a year, and so I kind of feel like I am feeling a little burnt on Assassin's Creed games simply because I played one more recently than I normally do in that kind of game cycle. But, I mean, it really has its moments. It's got two protagonists who are both really distinctly interesting characters. London's really neat, and, I mean, it's really, really Assassin's Creed at its best. I think it's by far got, the best assassinations out of any Assassin's Creed game. It's because basically, have you played any of the Assassin's Creed games?
I played number 1, number 2, and got about 6 hours into Brotherhood before my ADD kicked in.
Okay, so I mean, so you know what your general Templar assassination kind of thing is like.
Absolutely.
So Unity kind of pushed this forward, and then I think Syndicate's kind of perfected it. Is they have made these made the assassinations a lot more. They're really kind of this open sandboxy things where I'm trying to think of one that was a pretty good example. Like for instance, there was this one where I had to kill this assassin who's in this giant manor, or this Templar is in this giant manor, and so this really big area, huge grounds surrounding it. So it's this really huge, almost open world area. And basically, at the beginning of the scenario, you're put at a vantage point where it kind of shows you the overall layout. And then it gives you always gives you a couple of options. There will be well, if you talk to this person, something, somehow the assassination is going to become easier, or this person will assist you in some way, or this person gives you access to to a special kill. And so in this particular one, I was able to track down this guy who was a member of the guard, and most of the guard had been taken over by Templar, but he was not. He was a straight, he was basically a straight cop. A good cop. And so, but he kind of knew what was going on, and so you were able to find him and kind of save him. And by saving him, it kind of unlocked a special way to kill the Templar target. You could have him handcuff you and bring you into the manor, because essentially he's still one of the guard. And so he was able to basically trot you right up to her as if he had you, had taken you prisoner. And then right when she's not looking, then you can burst sleep free and kill her that way.
Cool.
And you don't have to do it that way. That's just like one way you could do it. That's just like that's an easier way of doing it. But you could just straight up sneak in there and just kill her if that's what you wanted to do.
Nice.
So anyways, it's just kind of cool because it gives you kind of options. And it gives you options, but at the same time, you don't really have to use any of them. You can just, it's up to you.
Nice. I like that. Yeah. Options.
So basically, that's what I've been up to. I think that kind of catches everything up. I'll have a lot more to say once I dig into Fallout 4.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yep. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy close.
Yes.
I actually, when I came home, I grabbed Fallout 3 and put it in my bag so that I could play it because I am still trapped in the last gen, and I never did finish up the DLC for Fallout 3, though I bought it all. So I'll be doing that while everybody's living in the now.
So, there are, have you been eyeballing any of these, really good-looking deals they're doing on the next gen around Christmas and Thanksgiving?
Absolutely, I have. We'll have to see, as I may or may not still have a job come January. We'll see. We'll see if the cards fall in the right way so that I can live in the now with everybody, too. We'll see.
So jumping forward a little bit, now that we kind of did a big kind of catch up, we've got kind of a lot of catching up to do because we haven't really talked about. This is our first show. It's kind of towards the end of the year, so there's plenty of stuff we missed.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided maybe the best way to kind of cover things is maybe just kind of go over our picks of the year so far, just kind of as a what's been going on in general. These are by no means final picks because we still got about a month and a half left to go, and there are, so opinions can change, but for now, we thought we'd just maybe review where we're at on certain pop culture topics. So, Chaz, why don't you get us started?
Alrighty, so picks of the year so far. We're going to run down a little bit of a list. We're going to have a video game. We're going to have a movie. We're going to have some TV. And then we got a wild card. Because Adam and I, though we're both fanboys, we like different sorts of things. So Adam may be of the audio variety. I may be of the literary variety, or, comic book more specifically variety. So we're going to mix things up. And to get things started, I'm going to throw out my video game pick, which may or may not have become very obvious at the very beginning of the episode. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain. It just did everything right for me. It was enough of a story that I kept going for almost 100 solid hours and am now subjecting myself to it again. I thought the gameplay was definitely my favorite Metal Gear to play, for sure. I found it addicting. I kept coming back to it. I couldn't put it down. I literally played it for about 14 hours one day. Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain is my video game pick of the year so far.
Now,
because who knows?
Now, here's kind of a good follow-up question. So we got about a month and a half left.
Yes, we do.
Do you honestly see anything out there in the video game cards that you think could upend that?
That could upend that one. Due to my overwhelming bias towards the series, if I'm being honest, probably not. But looking down the list, there are quite a few, like Batman Arkham Knight, that might have done it for me because I'm a huge DC Comics nut. Of course, Fallout 4 upcoming. I can see myself going at that for hours. There's a couple of things that are out there, but due to my overwhelming bias, I'm going to have to stick to my guns. Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah. Rebel Yale.
More. Yeah, exactly. Right on.
Yeah. How about you, my friend? Video game over your direction?
Well, it's actually been kind of a bit of a surprise this year because there's been a lot of big games this year. I mean, off the top of my head, I've played Witcher 3, which was fantastic.
Oh, that one.
Night was fantastic. Very much enjoyed my time with Metal Gear Solid 5. But as with some of the stuff I wound up loving the most, every once in a while something can kind of sneak in, and I have maybe middling expectations for it, and it manages just to kind of blow me away. And that game is Until Dawn.
Ooh.
Until Dawn, first of all, I reviewed it for Middle of Nowhere Gaming. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
Wow.
I consider it, while it's not a perfect game, I could certainly point out probably some flaws in it. It is a masterpiece. I mean, that game was just so good. And it's just like it's basically kind of like you played Heavy Rain, obviously.
Absolutely.
It's kind of a game in that vein, and except instead of it being kind of like a 7-ish type of game, it's very much kind of planted into a bunch of teenagers go up to a cabin in the mountains and shit goes down.
Nice.
It's really slickly put together. It has an amazing intro / theme song, which really helps kind of set the tone of it. And basically, you get to kind of lovingly craft your own horror film. And the story is flexible enough that everybody can live, everybody can die, anything in the middle.
Is it anywhere near as ridiculously depressing as Heavy Rain?
Oh no,
my kid won't eat his dinner because I didn't put it in the microwave long enough.
No, it's definitely a teen slasher. So I mean,
right, that's good.
So definitely the drama kind of falls into that horror movie camp, and it's really cool. It's kind of grounded by some very strong performances, particularly from Hayden Panettiere plays the lead. Rami Malek, who's becoming more and more popular, plays a fairly large role in it. And it's just so much fun, and it's a game that I will inevitably play again because I only experienced one small slice of what could potentially happen in the game. And yeah, like I said, it's something, and it was interesting because Sony really sent that game to die because I'm trying to remember what they sent it out against. They basically sent it out with no real publicity for it, and they're just like, well, here's this game. And then they kind of got shocked because the game kind of blew up. It was critically well received, the fans were loving it, so much so that they're already planning, which I'm a little dubious about, an on-rails shooter for for the Sony VR, which is going to be called Until Dawn: Rush of Blood. But yeah, I love it. I really hope they make a sequel to it. And yeah, it was just it just really kind of took me by surprise. And it's a favorite thing I've played this year. Though, I mean, there's a couple of games that I still need to play that I can't completely rule out. Fallout 4, obviously, is huge for me. But there's also a little one that's also releasing the same day as Fallout 4, which I think is just the stupidest idea ever. But there's also a little game called Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, when you said Set It Up to Die, that instantly came to my mind, which is kind of sad because the first one was really good.
Yeah, it was, and I have no reason to believe that 2 will not be even better. And that's why I can't understand why they're sending it up against Fallout, because I'm sure they've got a great game, but you don't put it up against Fallout. You get out of the way of Fallout.
Yeah, you maybe wait a little bit.
So I'm shocked that they didn't move it to December because, or even just a couple weeks, 2 weeks out, move it to the 24th. Let Fallout make its way out, give people a couple weeks to get through most of it, then release something new.
Give the crazy gamers a chance to beat Fallout 4 and upload it all to YouTube, which is how I watched Arkham Knight. Because people be crazy.
So those two games are what could potentially spoil it. I don't know if they're going to because much like Until Dawn is one of those games that, much like my long standing obsession with Danganronpa, it's one of those games that right when I start playing it, I almost instantly fell in love with it. I was right from after viewing the intro, which is this really creepy version of the song called "Oh Death." After that intro, I'm just like, yes, this game is awesome. I'm already in love with this game, and the game continued not to disappoint.
Are there any Jason moments in the game?
No, luckily no. There are still a few moments where we haven't quite leapt the uncanny valley. There are particular moments where people are smiling, where it's this really scary, soulless, dead-eyed smile, where you're just like, whoa, this is not okay.
Like the Commander Shepard rape face. It's like, don't worry, we'll bone later.
Yeah, but But luckily there isn't too many like real ham-fisted moments, other than ones that kind of fit with like the theme. But like, it's supposed to be, because some of it is kind of cheesy and cliche, but that's what's awesome about Until Dawn. It's supposed to be like an '80s slasher film, so it gets to be cheesy and cliche.
So there will be blood, and there also may be views.
Yes. Exactly. Fair enough. Moving forward.
All right.
Movies. A lot of movies came out this year.
Hell yeah.
My pick, which shouldn't come as a surprise, but my pick so far is Mad Max: Fury Road.
Well, my friend, I guess I'll have to join you in the conversation because that is my pick as well.
Yeah, it's like that movie was just like, holy crap! How did somebody make something so good?
Yeah, and where did it come from? It was one of those movies here in New York City. I'm not sure if you know, faithful listeners, but here on Manhattan Island, where I am fortunate enough to be staying and sleeping at night, may or may not be in the park using Starbucks' Wi-Fi to do this podcast. Movies are like $18 here. It's like $17.99 for a regular priced movie ticket. A matinee doesn't really exist except for before noon, where that $17, $18 movie ticket becomes a $9 movie ticket. So you got to get up at 9:30 in the morning to go see a movie. And due to the recommendation of Adam Leonard, I went and saw that movie at literally 9:45 a.m. on a Tuesday. And damn, was it worth it. It was so good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just like, it's like, first of all, it's just kind of crazy because it's like George Miller wants to make a new Mad Max after how many years? You're like, all right, I'll bite. Let's see what you got. But then he comes up with this movie, and I'll admit, I wasn't even really a Mad Max fan until I saw the trailers for this, and I'm like, holy shit, this looks like the coolest thing ever. And it's just like, it's amazing because it's like really visceral, but it's also beautiful and kind of emotional. I mean, like, probably the single most beautiful piece of filmmaking I've seen this year is that friggin' sandstorm scene.
Yeah. Oh, man. And the soundtrack. I've got that on my phone.
And you know, there was at one point where I went and saw it with my roommate Justin, and there was like that point where the guy from Bullet Town gets blinded and proceeds to put on a blindfold and has like two what appear to be Uzis that he's firing and saying that I am justice. I was like laughing giddily because I just became a 6-year-old kid because it was just so like outrageously, amazingly cool. It was just like so like I can't even believe I'm witnessing this. And I also then kind of, for me, like I kind of talked about this a little bit on the Metal Gear Solid podcast, but then also it kind of clicked. What was so awesome about Mad Max was that really these movies aren't about Mad Max. Mad Max is basically kind of the viewer's portal into like the apocalyptic world. And it's like through him you see these other stories unfold. Because really, ultimately the movie was Furiosa's story and her redemption.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, it was like kind of great. And, you know, I really liked Nicholas Holt's character and his storyline because, you know, first he kind of starts as this wayward character who all he wants to do is to die spectacularly or die gloriously, and it's kind of awesome in like a roundabout way. That's ultimately what happens to him, but not before kind of once again redeeming himself.
Yeah. Hey, does my face ever turn into a Kohl's ad on your Skype too?
Turn into a what?
A Kohl's ad.
I don't see your face right now.
Because your picture just turned into a Kohl's ad. What the hell? What the hell, Skype? I don't want to look at a Kohl's ad. I'm talking about Mad Max, damn it.
But yeah, I mean, Mad Max is just basically the best thing I've seen in a very long time. I mean, there are other contenders. Like, I really, really like The Kingsman a lot.
Oh, The Kingsman. That was the first movie that I saw here.
That movie was great. I mean, it was just so much fun. That scene in the church is like the most over the top. I mean, other than Mad Max, is the most over the top thing I've seen in a very long time. And it was just great. It was just like a lot of fun and very slickly done. And they're making a sequel to it, which awesome because I'm down for another one.
Absolutely.
Ant-Man was really good.
Ant-Man. I also saw that one in theaters. I haven't seen a whole lot in theaters.
No, it was fun. I like this movie Dope quite a bit. It was kind of cool.
I wanted to see that, but every showing was sold out, and then it disappeared.
Yeah. The only thing that I could see overturning this, and we'll probably talk a little more about this later, so we won't go too much detail, is I haven't seen The Force Awakens yet.
Same.
That's a big, big question mark, whether nostalgia can beat out Mad Max.
Yeah.
I could tell you one that definitely does not beat out Mad Max, is I did go see Spectre last night.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
How was it? It's getting mixed reviews. I mean, I'll definitely go see it for myself, because polarizing things are my favorite.
How spoiler or non-spoiler do you want it?
Let's go non-spoilery. Non-spoilery. Maybe we can talk about it later.
Okay, I won't address the elephant in the room then. The movie itself was fine. The biggest compliment I can give it is probably has one of my favorite Bond intros of all time. I thought it was actually the intro was great.
Cool.
It takes place in Mexico City during the Dios de los Muertos celebration. It's really cool.
All right.
And the movie itself was fine. Like I said, I didn't necessarily hate it as much as some people did. It wasn't Skyfall.
That's a tough one to beat.
Yep.
It didn't beat it at the box office either. It came close at 73, 77 million, something around there. Skyfall still had had it beat by about 8 million or so.
But yeah, you need to go see it so we can talk about it a little bit more. Because like I said, there's definitely the one large thing I want to talk about. Definitely something that we've joked about before, but I think you need to see it first. So why don't you take us into the next topic?
All right.
Oh, wait. Before we do, it's Star Wars. Is there anything else you can see beating Mad Max other than Star Wars?
Man, for me, no.
Okay. No. Yeah, like I said, Star Wars is it at this point.
Yeah. Man, TV. TV is next. And holy crap, TV is amazing right now. But what really classifies as TV? Is Netflix TV still? I mean, kind of.
Yeah, I'd consider if it's basically a television series that came out this year. It doesn't matter if it's weekly broadcast on TV or dumped to Netflix.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Because my first instinct, honestly, is to say Daredevil, but I'm actually going to go with a different superhero, and I am going to pick Barry Allen, the fastest man alive, The Flash, as my TV pick of the year, basically due to the finale and how that first season pays off everything that it builds up to in that season finale. Season 1 of Flash, I think, is probably my favorite first season of television, at least in the long form, the 22-plus episode season of television that I've ever seen in my life. I was crying like a blubbering child in the finale of The Flash at moments that didn't even really warrant blubbering, just because it was that good. It was that good. The Flash on the CW, man. They're doing special things over there. Season 2 has been good so far, but it's only 5 episodes deep, so they've got some time. But Season 1 of The Flash, Barry Allen is incredibly likable. Grant Gustin, you may know him as one of the evil frat douches from Glee. I don't know much about Glee, but he played some guy on there. But
gotcha.
He's great on this show. It's got my man Tom Collins, Jesse Martin as Joe West, his mentor figure. Tom Cavanaugh is the Reverse Flash, and Tom Cavanaugh is JD's older brother on Scrubs.
Yep. Also Ed.
Yeah, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I forgot about Ed. What happened to that show? That was great. Oh, well. Things happen, but it's a great show, and if you haven't seen The Flash, shame.
I haven't seen it, gotta admit. I'm definitely curious, but I just don't watch as much TV as I used to. I play a lot of video games, to be honest, so really my TV is fairly limited.
That makes sense. And 22 hours, that's a long commitment.
That's a big commitment, yeah.
That's not like a 13 episode, 13 hours. This is 22 hours. This is a whole day of TV here, so I can understand. But The Flash, it's all on Netflix. If you haven't watched it and you have Netflix, add it to your list. Maybe watch it here and there. Get sucked down the rabbit hole. Or into the multiverse. Boom! Dropped a spoiler and some nerd culture on you. Multiverse. Bam.
Anything you see topping it?
Jessica Jones isn't out yet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I still haven't watched Narcos, which I hear is outstanding. Like it's the water cooler show at work. People are talking about Narcos, and I don't know anything about it other than it's on my list on Netflix. Because I was like, hey, Pablo Escobar, that sounds fun. I saw the movie Blow, and yeah.
It's a Netflix original, right?
It is a Netflix original. It's a reader show, apparently. It's all in Spanish. Most
interesting.
Yeah, so you got to go for it. You got to commit. You got to pay attention, which is kind of hard to do sometimes in this busy adult life. Being an adult is hard. Yeah. How about you, Adam? Television.
This was actually kind of a tough one because there are several different things I could think of competing neck and neck. So I have to give honorable mention to, first of all, Daredevil was amazing.
Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio was friggin' fantastic as the Kingpin.
You embarrassed me in front of her.
Oh, he is so scary in that show.
My friend, Adam Leonard.
Yeah, so that is definitely very high on my list. I can't wait to see, it was a great start to like this whole Netflix Marvel Universe stuff, and I can't wait to see where it continues to go. Also on that honorable mention list, Better Call Saul.
Oh my God. Why didn't I even think of that show? I just finished it like last week. Oh,
isn't it so good?
So damn good. Oh, man. What the hell? What a great show. And it's I don't even care that it's tied into Breaking Bad now. It's just so good on its own now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
like I said, it totally stands on its own. It gives us a deeper look at Saul, who's like a fascinating character. Gives us some more time with Mike. Mike's, once again, friggin' love Mike.
Oh, man. That guy. What's his name? What's that actor's name?
God, what is his name? Mike.
Commissioner Gordon in Arkham Knight. That guy?
Oh, God, no. What is his name?
It'll come to us later.
Is it Jonathan Banks?
Jonathan Banks, heck yes.
And also, gosh, I'm also really stoked about, because I'm a fan of a lot of his work. Why can't I think of his name? The guy that they've got playing Saul's brother is also really fantastic.
McKean.
Yeah, Michael McKean.
Yes.
Like I said, I've been a longtime fan because I'm a huge Christopher Guest fan, and he's kind of one of his regulars. I mean, he was in Spinal Tap.
Yeah, which should be out on Blu-ray.
Yes, please. But he is really fantastic. I mean, that scene where he finally just kind of like lays into his brother and tells him that he's not a real lawyer is just kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't wait to see, because it's kind of fun as a Breaking Bad fan, because you kind of know where he ends up, and so now you have to kind of watch this kind of tragic fall. Because right now, season 1, basically, without even really spoiling anything, you could see that Saul wants to be, or Jimmy, as he's called at that point, wants to be a good person. He desperately does. And now we're kind of seeing the descent. We get to see the descent of how he goes from that person who's trying to do the right thing into being where he is come Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
But as much as I love it, I'm gonna have to go with a gut pick. Number one TV show I've seen in this series, new TV series, finally a show on USA that I actually think is decent. Mr. Robot.
Oh, I've heard of it. I have not seen any of it.
Oh my God, you need to watch Mr. Robot. Mr. Robot is so friggin' good.
Okay, Mr. Robot, note taken on phone. Boom, Mr. Robot.
Yeah, it's basically once again, this is one of these things that it's kind of a little bit hard to talk too much about, because it's definitely a show that's a journey, and there's lots of twists and shocking moments. Basically, more or less, it's about this guy. Basically about this guy named Elliot, who seems to have had some history of mental illness, and now works for a computer security firm called AllSafe, and basically kind of falls in inadvertently with a group of hacktivists called F Society, and it's kind of got a bit of a mystery because you don't really know exactly what's going on, and it kind of just keeps you on the edge of your seat week to week. It's a really fantastic show. Rami Malek, the guy I was talking about from Until Dawn, plays the lead. He plays Elliot, and he's really good. And then it's also got Christian Slater, who plays the enigmatic Mr. Robot, the leader of this F Society.
Sweet.
So definitely worth checking out. Like, I don't really want to go into too much more detail because it's just like I said, it's like just like you kind of have to watch it week to week just to kind of go, holy shit, what just happened? But it's like by far the best thing that I've ever seen on USA.
Yeah, very cool. That's USA, like Burn Notice and
Suits, White Collar,
Royal Pains, WWE Raw.
Only thing coming out that I could give it a run, that still has a possibility to give it a run for its money, is I am really excited about Jessica Jones.
Yeah, me too. Those trailers have made me go, oh man, they might even do that scene from the second issue of the Alias comic where
it's gonna be
Luke Cage is, whoo boy.
Yeah. It looks like it's gonna be real dark, and basically, it's going to be very interesting to see, God, why am I losing his name? The Doctor.
Tennant?
David Tennant. Yes. I am very interested to see what David Tennant does with, like, the Purple Man, who's basically just, really disturbingly, just basically kind of a super rapist, more or less.
Yeah. It's definitely gonna raise some eyebrows, for the lack of a better term. May raise something else if you're a creeper.
And I think Christian Ritter's really cool casting because I didn't really watch too much of it, but I, from what I saw, actually kind of enjoyed Don't Trust a Bee in Apartment, whatever it was. And she was kind of great because she's kind of a great comic presence, and so it's interesting that she's being cast into this drama. So I
am familiar with her from Veronica Mars, and I was just like, ugh, I hate her in like the best possible way because she played a bitch.
So I'm excited, and I don't really know much about the guy who's playing Luke Cage, but it's cool to have Luke Cage introduced into the universe too, because So I definitely have to see that. Actually, me and my buddy Quincy, who you know, are gonna have like a veg out session the weekend after it comes out, and we're just gonna get snacks and like go make a pot roast and just spend all day sitting on the couch watching Jessica Jones.
That sounds amazing.
Too bad you're not here.
I know, right? I'll be caught up in the world of retail, building a Lego set with a bunch of 400 kids that are restraining my mouth from saying other words. All right, let's move on.
Okay, finally, wild card pick. Okay, I'll go ahead and head this off. I think I'm probably going to go with best podcast because that's probably something I do a fair amount of, listen to a fair amount of. And recently, through a mutual friend, Nick Rich, I got turned on to this podcast called The Black Tapes. And it's a horror podcast, and it's basically more or less about this journalist who wants to start a new podcast in which every week she follows around somebody each week she follows around somebody with a different and interesting job. And just from week to week, she like shadows somebody who does like some kind of interesting line of work. And in the first episode, basically, she's following around these ghost hunters and following them as they go investigate the paranormal. And through that, she comes in contact with this guy named Richard Strand, who is a world-famous skeptic, where basically his life's work is to prove the paranormal does not exist. And has set up this foundation called the Richard Strand Foundation, and it kind of has issued this open challenge, it's like $1 million to anybody who can send him something that can't be proved as fake. So far, obviously, nobody's successfully claimed that $1 million, but she discovers that he has a set of tapes called the Black Tapes. And the Black Tapes are these set of tapes that he hasn't been able to disprove. And basically then the entire podcast shifts, instead of it switching up every week, becomes this podcast solely focused on investigating these Black Tapes. And it's really cool because, first of all, it kind of has this Blair Witchian feel to it where at first you're not sure if it's real or not because it's presented essentially as a real podcast, and which is kind of creepy the further you get into it because some really creepy stuff that talks about some really creepy stuff. You're like, wait, is this real or not? And it's pretty great because as the weeks go by, everything kind of becomes connected more and more, and this larger conspiracy starts coming to the forefront. It's really a fantastic podcast. If you want to catch up, it's really easy to catch up because there's only a few episodes at this point, and they're not super long episodes. But I pretty much listen to all of them in about a day.
Cool. The Black Tapes.
The Black Tapes.
All right. That sounds awesome. That's added to the list with Mr. Robot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And I am going to go with one of the things that you'll probably hear me go to a whole bunch in the course of this podcast's life. Comic books. I'm a huge comic book fan. And for this pick, it was kind of tough because I read a lot of comics. I read DC, I read Marvel, I read the indies. I have not read as much as I'd like to, which means I have stacks of comics that are growing out of control in my tiny apartment. However, I'm going to go with a pick that is easy to get behind, easy to digest for pretty much everybody, and this is Batman Earth 1, Volume 2, the original graphic novel. So Batman Earth 1, DC's Earth 1 line is easy access points. They are self-contained stories involving the big characters of the DC universe. So they've done a Superman, they've done Batman, and they've done a Teen Titans so far on Earth 1. They're working on a Wonder Woman and a Flash coming soon. But this year, Jeff Johns, the writer, and Gary Frank, the artist, dropped Volume 2 of Batman Earth 1. The art is fantastic. The story is very cool. And what's great about these graphic novels, they're easy to jump into, easy to digest, even if you only know Batman from some other media. So if you know Batman from, Adam West TV show or the animated series or the Christopher Nolan films, you'll feel right at home, especially if you like those, in the Batman Earth 1 graphic novel. The story revolves around young Bruce Wayne is now officially the Batman after Volume 1. And this volume has to do with Killer Croc and a very sadistic and twisted version of the Riddler, which finally puts this Bruce Wayne's detective skills to the test. So it's very cool. If you like the Riddler, if you like Batman, jump on board to Batman Earth 1 Volume 2. And it also has a little bit more significance with this Earth 1 line, as it is written by Jeff Johns, who was announced as the co-writer for the upcoming Ben Affleck-helmed Batman films. So it might give you a hint at what's to come for those particular films, with Jeff Johns being, in my opinion, one of the best in the medium of comics.
Yep, you sold me. I'm definitely going to have to read that.
It's very cool. I can send it to you maybe in the mail.
Okay. That would be amazing. I would totally read it.
And then you can go to my mom's house and get Volume 1 if you haven't read that already.
I think I've already read Volume 1. I think you lent that to me. If I remember right, isn't Alfred a mechanic?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, he's a mechanic with a shady past, which may or may not involve some military sort of stuff.
Right. But I dug what I read. It was kind of a cool reimagining of the Batman mythos.
And you can see his eyes through the Batman mask, which is, you wouldn't think would be that significant, but the way it's drawn, it's very significant. It's very cool. Very neat. So that's my wild card pick, Batman.
All right, so we have actually done pretty good. We've got about 10 minutes left, so we're probably not going to get to everything on our list. What would you like to have the last topic be about?
Is it bad I want to talk wrestling?
No, not at all, because we're going to be doing plenty of it. All right, so, wow, pretty big deal this week in the WWE. That Seth Rollins suffered who is the WWE champion, if you don't know, suffered a pretty horrific, legit injury that's putting him out 6 to 9 months.
Yeah, did you see that X-ray? Oh,
no.
Oh, my goodness. It pretty much looks like his skin is the only thing that's keeping the bottom half of his leg on. Everything is severed, and I'm wondering, how the hell is he going to come back from this? It's very scary. But apparently he is set to make a comeback. Just 6 to 9 months from now.
So, as a result, now we have a vacant title belt, and they're going to be doing a tournament at Survivor Series to determine who the new champion is. Have they announced anything about who's going to be in that tournament yet?
No, not yet. There has not been any television or television tapings since the incident happened. It's been a very interesting last couple of days because it's all speculation at this point. And Rollins, for those of you who aren't familiar with pro wrestling, has been the champ since the beginning of April at WrestleMania. He's been on a roll. He's a hell of a...
I was there live for that.
Yeah, yes you were. Yes you were. He's been on a roll. He's a hell of a performer, and it's just kind of heartbreaking to go out, and as they always say, they seem to say in interviews, it's never the big stuff that hurts you. It's the stuff you've done a million times. It's a sunset flip, apparently, off of the top rope. Ugh. Scary, scary, scary.
So what do you think? Do you expect it's going to be like, what, a tournament of 8, do you think, at Survivor Series with, like, the winners, as to the winner essentially having to win 3 times?
I honestly cannot see them doing any bigger than 8 unless they extend the runtime because they have the network now, the WWE network. So they totally could extend the runtime to a 4-hour show, but will they is the question. And so I'm thinking, yeah, 8 guys is the way to go. How you get those 8 guys, we're going to have to see. Maybe they start at 16 and do it over the next couple of weeks and roll in with the 8, kind of King of the Ring style.
Who do we think that the 8 are going to be? Because I'm assuming it's 8, because that's what makes sense to me, is that we've got, you've basically, they wrestle 3 times essentially to get to that championship belts. Who do you think the 8 are? Obviously, I think, of course, let's just assume that both Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose are going to probably be in there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go with the 16-guy format over the next couple of weeks to kind of determine the brackets. I wouldn't be surprised if Roman got a bye in the first round because he's already number 1 contender. So they could play with that and let guys work a little longer, because even with an 8-guy tournament, you're looking at at least an 8-match card for the Survivor Series, which 8 matches for 3 hours is a loaded card with not a lot of time. Definitely Roman Reigns is for sure going to be in it. Ambrose for sure going to be in it. Bray is busy, which we'll get to.
we can diverge for a second here.
All right, let's do that.
Okay, so my understanding, I didn't watch Raw, but I read about this. So am I to understand, basically Bray Wyatt has... And Bray Wyatt, by the way, to kind of explain, a lot of these wrestlers don't need explanations, but we're going to have to do some explanations here if you don't watch wrestling. So Bray Wyatt is a leader of a hillbilly swamp cult.
And it's as awesome as it sounds.
So he's basically a cult leader. And he has kidnapped The Undertaker, who is basically a living dead zombie mortician that has the power of lightning and teleportation and just kind of resurrection. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, and during one of his resurrections, he was part of the Hells Angels or something.
Oh, yeah, he was a biker for a while and kind of an MMA fighter now.
His brother buried him alive, and then he became a dead guy again.
He was managed by a guy named Paul Bearer until he buried that person in cement. That actually happened on a pay-per-view. That should probably be noted.
Yep.
So he kidnapped this guy, The Undertaker. And then he kidnapped The Undertaker's brother, who's named Kane. Kane was, horrifically burned alive in a house fire set by his brother. And now is back, sometimes wearing a mask, sometimes not. Doesn't have any burns anymore, apparently.
No, apparently the scars were mental. They were mental scars.
And he controls fire, and he's also done other notable things. Like, there was a storyline where he had a girlfriend at one point who died, and it was revealed, even though this all happened before he was in the WWE, notorious villain Triple H had sex with her dead corpse. That also happened at one point.
Yep, that was on TV, on the USA Network.
So anyway, Bray Wyatt has kidnapped this, pyromancy burn victim, and this like living dead zombie lightning god, and now by doing so has now gained the power of both fire and lightning, is my understanding.
Yeah, he's stealing their powers, bro. He is straight up roguing the crap out of them. Just like, hey, give me your powers. Oh, it hurt you? What else?
But so anyways, that's actually taking place in 2015 WWE, which is just jaw-dropping to me. I mean, I don't know whether I hate it or I love it. Bray Wyatt's probably my favorite wrestler right now, or one of my 3 favorite wrestlers, because, nobody else is doing, like, the horror gimmick in the WWE anymore, and so it's cool that he is. He's a talented wrestler. He's an amazing wrestler, period, and even more amazing considering how agile he is for his size.
Yeah.
And he's probably one of their best talkers.
Absolutely. But man, what in the world? He now controls fire and lightning.
So anyways, he's going to be busy with all that shenanigans. So he's not in the 8th. So we got Roman, we got Dean Ambrose.
I'm assuming Sheamus. I'm just
Sheamus
assuming
probably
Sheamus
needs to be in there.
I could see them doing because they're doing the tournament at the pay-per-view. The New Day I think the New Day will be just one entry. I think that they will just be in the tournament as the New Day.
You think they're going to allow 3 people to compete against one guy?
I think it's going to be one of those like alternating things. So like Xavier Woods will wrestle the first match, and like Big E will wrestle the second match, and then I think it'll be like Freebird rules sort of thing.
I can only see them doing that if they put him up against somebody like Reigns and they get like rightfully squashed.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm assuming is going to happen. It'll be the New Day versus Reigns, and Reigns will just wipe the floor with all 3 of them, which of course will be sad for the New Day. But hey, unicorn magic, we can all hope with our unicorn magic.
See, if I had to speculate, like I said, I think Reigns, I think Ambrose. I think Sheamus is probably right because he's got that Money in the Bank, so he's kind of in the picture. I think Cesaro is going to be there because they're kind of pushing Cesaro, and he'll probably make it to the second round. I think he won't get to the finals, but I think he'll get to at least the second round to be like, look how good he is.
Yeah, he'll make it to the semis because he can make whoever goes to your finals look like $1 million.
Mm-hmm. And then I probably see Ziggler.
I can see that too. His Lana Rusev thing has fallen off into weird, obscure territory.
I think Neville's probably a good option. I'll probably go on the other 4. I'll say Ziggler. I'll say Neville. I will say maybe Wade Barrett, and I'll say Owens.
Yeah, Owens. What about Ryback? You think he won't be in there?
Oh, he could be. That's tough.
Yeah.
He could take the place of many of those people, or he might lose a qualifying match against Owens to continue to make Owens look strong.
That is true. And so, bigger question: who do you think is going to walk out? Are you pretty resigned to Reigns?
It's going to be Reigns. Yeah. It's time. Unless they bring Cena back early, that's the only question mark.
Yeah.
If they maybe if they pulled some kind of wild card thing.
Yeah, maybe. I just kind of feel for him. Give him a break, man. Mm-hmm. He works his butt off. Give him some time off. Let him get a margarita.
Reigns seems logical. That's not the most interesting choice for me. I'd much rather see many of those other people with it.
I would like to see Ambrose after an Ambrose heel turn.
Yeah, like I said, Ambrose, one of my top 3 guys. I love Dean Ambrose. I think he's basically shades of Roddy Piper.
Or better yet, if Roman does it, I want it to be after a Roman heel turn. Because
I could deal with that.
Because let's face it, the Roman as a babyface thing is not working.
No.
It's just not working. They're trying super duper hard. The guy's got an amazing mean streak, as we saw in The Shield, which was the faction beforehand. And it doesn't make sense now that I'm thinking about it for Ambrose to join the Authority or something, because Ambrose is a lunatic, right? He doesn't care.
Yeah, he's basically a wild card.
Yeah. Roman could turn heel, because after you turn Roman heel, then you can turn him babyface in a big fashion, because people will start to like him. because this is the generation of everybody liking the bad guy.
So, yeah, that's where my money is. I think we're going to see Reigns take it at the Survivor Series. And with that, I think we're at that hour mark, so you want to start closing this out, Jazz?
Yes, we will do that. Don't forget, there's a Mass Effect Andromeda trailer, so you can go watch that on YouTube, and we'll talk about that in depth at a later date, I am sure. And so, yeah, in closing, we will hopefully be weekly, every single week, here on the Middle of Nowhere Gaming, Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys podcast. And feel free to look us up. We got a Facebook page at Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys. Make sure to give us a like, shoot us a message, all that sort of good stuff. Compliment us or critique us or say, hey, talk about this, which we very well might do. You can also send those emails to fnfanboys@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at fnfanboys. And also at Middle of Nowhere Gaming at the middleofnowheregaming.com. That's the website. You can also follow them on Twitter at Mong, which is the abbreviation of Middle of Nowhere Gaming. Mong.com, spelled out on Twitter. That's MONGDOT.com. On YouTube, the Mong Network, or Middle of Nowhere Gaming Plays. Also, Mong is on Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr. Hopefully we'll see you again with the Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys right here on the Middle of Nowhere Gaming. For Adam Leonard,
woo!
I'm Chaz King. This has been Friendly Neighborhood Fanboys. We will holla at you soon.